Welcome back to another Chit Chat, everyone. I know it's been a hot minute since we've done one of these. So the vlog content has kind of slowed down, which is why I'm picking up back again with the Chit Chats a little bit, just because I don't want my channel to be empty of content, and I don't want it to be exclusively bullet journaling content. So I do not consider myself a part of WitchTube, just because that's not the focus of my channel. But the Chit Chats kind of started leaning into a lot of my pagan practice. So we're going to be doing some Chit Chats here over the next several months, just so I can build up the variety of content that I have here on my channel. Anyone who's known me for a very long time knows I'm not going to do clickbait. I don't like doing controversial topics because it doesn't feel like honest engagement to me. And I prefer, if you guys are going to engage with me by commenting and leave me a like, it's because you actually enjoyed the video. It's because you actually enjoyed digitally interacting with me in a way. So, we are going to talk about notebooks. We're going to talk about grimoires and books of shadows, and I'm going to give you guys a glimpse of mine. So let me introduce you guys to my grimoire, which is a hand-bound book that I made from the innards of pages of signatures from a set of journals that I deliberately cut the guts out of to turn into junk journals, because my long-form journaling really responds to junk journaling really, really well. So for me, as my practice has evolved, I have figured out that for me, a grimoire is just a book of reference information. Oh, well, maybe not just a book of reference information, but it is a book of reference information. I have my colors, I have days of the week, I have numbers, and then I have intentions. I have intention keywords. Now, colors and numbers are very important for me in my practice because I tend to do a lot of crochet. I don't do a lot of sewing quite yet. I've done a good bit of knitting. Very basic knitting, mind you, but I've done a good bit of it. I've done more crocheting than I have anything else. Let me show you guys an example. This is one of my oracle decks, and it's just a little bag. I used crochet thread for this particular bag. You see it's got a little reading mat that it comes with. This particular deck is the Witch's Runic Familiar Oracle deck, and you guys will get to see this deck in a future Chit Chat. I plan on sharing my decks in future Chit Chats and just my perspective with them, and my advice on working with them if you decide you want to check them out and stuff like that. But color and number are very, 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 very key if you are incorporating a large amount of crafting that is crochet and knitting and sewing and embroidery, cross stitch, you name it. They're very big elements inside of that. And I recently was guided to realize that I probably should have been working with Brigid for a very, very long time now. For a very long time, I worked with Ma'at and Thoth, Dejuti, or Dejuti. I'm not really sure the actual way of saying it, but you usually stick with Thoth just because it's a little bit easier to say. But when it comes to the gods that I ended up working with afterwards, I was drawn into the Celtic pantheon very heavily. And for a very long time, actually worked with the Morrigan. And I had a lot of battles that I was fighting. Say hi, LT. It wouldn't be a witchcraft video without a cat deciding to get into the middle of it, would it? Oh. But, I was working with the Morrigan a lot because I had a lot of inner battles. And now that I've had a lot of healing and a lot of breakthroughs, she and I don't need to be interacting the way we used to. I still honor her. I still have a space of respect for her on my altar, but she's not the one I should have been working with for a while now. And probably about 4 or 5 years ago is when I started really realizing that I didn't really have anybody I was working with. I didn't feel pulled to anybody. And I should have been doing some research back then. But when I say recently, I mean, it was sometime in July of 2023, this year, when it was like, oh, I should probably be working with the goddess of the hearth and home, considering I'm a homesteader now. Derp. So, and she's the goddess of crafting. So, colors and numbers and things like that are pretty important for me to have in a quickie reference book. The intentions are because my magic tends to be very intuitional. And if I'm building up something, it's not going to be a singular focus, like a protection bag for one of the vehicles. It's not going to be just protection. It's also going to have elements to pull in heightened awareness, quick-mindedness, quick action, that kind of thing. That way, when my husband and I are driving, we've got that little bit extra for us to be paying attention to possible dangers and be able to respond to them very quickly. So the intentions let me see if I've got one of the more complete pages. Let's see if I got a more complete page. Yeah, blessings. Here we go. There's a good example of blessings right there. We've got the stuff that can be associated with it. We've got our herbs and plants, and we've got incense. And the intentions will probably take up a very large chunk in this grimoire. And the only other real thing that I'm probably really going to have in here is probably going to be my favorite deck spreads and deity pages. So that's my grimoire. It's not going to have any rituals in it, any spells in it, because my spells and my rituals that I do, my workings that I do, are always different between workings. It has been a delightfully cool August day today. That's not Daddy. That's not Daddy, Maggie. My dog is sitting outside my window going, is that Dave coming home? No, it's not. So what do I actually do all of my magical work in? Where am I breaking things down at? That currently is this notebook right here from Archer and Olive. I was originally going to use this as a everyday bullet journal, but as I was sitting with it and just getting to know it, it very much became very clear to me that I needed to turn this into a magical journal. And my magical journal is messy. I've got cards in here. I've got all sorts of stuff in here. Yes, hello, Maggie. Go lay down. We will take care of things once I'm done with the video, okay? Let me finish recording. Every time. So that is where I will create things. No. Go lay down. Thank you. I can't say the O word, even in passing, because then they'll freak out. So, did I tell you guys already this was a 192 page one? I don't remember, but I will keep things in here like, I'll put in that year's moon phases. I will put in my quarterly readings, my, I have pages where I have created spell jars, and I've listed out the ingredients and why I'm using those ingredients. I have a few deity pages. I'll show you guys some of the blank pages. But this is the notebook that I will go through and put things into. And I absolutely love decorating my pages in this thing. And you notice in the grimoire there is some decoration, but it's not as much. This is the one that's the mess. This is the one that gets messy. Now, sometimes you'll go to create a project, you'll go to create a notebook, and you end up realizing it's not right. I moved into this one because this one that I made wasn't right for a grimoire for me because it's too big. So, as you can see, it's also very chunky. I have to take off the back. I'm going to be taking out the signatures that I don't need, that have stuff in them. And I'm going to be rebinding this one with a Coptic stitch, because Coptic stitch in notebooks that you're going to be in frequently that you need to have lay flat, mwah, chef's kiss. But this is a very junk journal style notebook. And, you know, I've got pockets in here. Got a lot of collaging. And this particular notebook, I have got pages that I wasn't able to finish decorating because it's too big. Because it got too chunky on me. So I will be rebinding this so that I can actually use it. And it is actually going to be my next magical journal, but I'm probably not going to be moving into it for a while because I still have 80 some pages left. Do I have 80 something pages? Let me check. Let's see, 80. Yeah, I've got 80 pages left in this notebook. And I don't do a lot of magical working, but when I do magic, I try to be very thorough. I leave space on spells and workings so that I can come back and write down what all is going on in them. Now, when I say I have to be very careful with my magical workings, it's not because I'm worried about someone going "nee" with an evil eye. No, I live in Cochise County, Arizona. I'm near the Chiricahuas and the Dragoons, and there is a lot of very, very, very ancient, deep earth power in those mountains. And I have to be very careful about what I do because it likes to help. So I have to be careful about how much I let it help, because if I let it help too much, it kind of tends to push the working over the top, and it's too powerful or too strong, which can cause problems sometimes. I actually had to redo a couple of workings earlier in the year because I didn't limit how much it could help. Because my husband was getting too much work. He was almost constantly on the road, and I needed him home for a while. So in January, I scaled it back a little bit. And then he got hurt in March, and it's just kind of like, oh, great. So I have got quite a few... I've got a couple of spells and workings that I should have done years ago to directly protect the individual that is my husband. Go figure. And for those of you going, I should probably do that for my significant other. Do it. But yeah, sometimes I'm a little slow on the uptake when it comes to magic that I could be doing. That is a good idea, but it happens. Well, that's it for today's chit chat, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys know the YouTube spiel. There will be another chit chat next month, or maybe in another 2 weeks. I haven't decided yet how many of these how fast I want to put these out, because I'm also doing the blog still, and I'm also doing bullet journaling content still. So next chit chat, we are going to start talking about my decks. And the first of the decks is going to be one of my favorite Oracle decks to date to work with. This particular deck entered my collection last year. And we're going to go over this deck in detail in the next chit chat. And I hope you guys decide to tune in for that. As always, hug your loved ones tight. Take care of yourself. I love you, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.